What's going on, team? It is another beautiful Saturday morning here in the country. It is Stonewall Jackson and Robert E. Lee Day. It's another beautiful day here in Virginia. Y'all gotta love it. On my way to the gym, coach up the competition club, but I just wanted to let y'all know what's on tap. Man, good calories, bad calories. Ever read that? We want to talk about the common myth, calories in, calories out. Do people really still believe that? If that's the case, if it's just calories, calories in, calories out, why not just go ahead and eat fat all day, or carbohydrate all day, or protein all day? So if that's the case, and when a lot of people kind of look askance at what we do in the CrossFit community, the majority of us eating high fat, high quality fat, high protein diet, well then, they kind of think you can't really fault them, primarily because they've grown up with the government line most of their life, which obviously is always wrong. They've grown up with the government food pyramid, the FDA, and all of that, telling them what they should and shouldn't eat. And as it's laid out now, the government propaganda tells you should eat 2/3 of your diet as carbohydrate, which is a recipe for atherosclerosis, any other version of really tough to ever come back from, like type 2 diabetes, any type of, notice I said diabetes, any other type of terrible late onset disease, even the late onset type 1 diabetes in adults. All these things, when you run a cyclically higher carbohydrate diet mixed with moderate fat and typically really, really bad fats, and then a scant amount of protein, well, then you're going to run into a lot of problems. So we typically try and fuel our performance. So a buddy of mine and I were talking about this in the gym the other day. What we try and do that day is fuel your performance for the coming day. So like when Nicole and myself and some other folks, and even like Pat and like these guys back in the day, we used to talk about cheat meals all the time. We'd always talk about that sugar kind of hangover, and it would always really affect us in the gym that next day. And that's what the problem was. We would go into this kind of sugar coma that we don't ever really deal with, all of that high end. So, we're getting our peanut butter out, our chocolate bars out, our gallons of ice cream, different flavors into pints and like all that stuff, and lining them up, knocking them out, putting in Reese's peanut butter cups and Heath bar and like all this stuff that we would do systematically, which should show you a certain level of addiction to these things, which you never really consider while you're doing it, but that's what's going on. Your body gets acclimated to running on when you're doing things well. Good quality protein sources, really good solid quality fats, and also good solid quality, when you have them, carbohydrates. So sweet potatoes, any kind of roots and tubers, any kind of darker berry is good. Your spinach, your kale, your broccoli, depending on where you're at with that stuff, because this sort of stuff can be tough for some ladies. But like all of these little things don't seem so foreign. So people who kind of just say the calories in, calories out stuff, it's just ridiculous on its face, just for those of you who still believe that kind of thing. It's really nonsense, because if it were just calories in, calories out, then you could always eat like crap and always do well. Always. That it wouldn't be days of ups and downs, or I had a good day in the gym, or I didn't feel like running today, and you wouldn't rely on the statistical outlier. Well, he eats like crap, why does he look like that? Well, he's the one guy, and if it's not you, then don't use somebody who is not like your body type or your metabolism and all that stuff as your example to live your life by. That's a recipe, again, for disaster. But that's really it, guys. Don't believe calories in, calories out. Again, because if that were the case, just in and of itself, you could just go and eat a stick of butter whenever you're hungry and be fine. I challenge you to see if you could actually eat a stick of butter, because you will be full a couple bites in, or completely turned off by it, one or the other. So myth of calories in, calories out is thoroughly debunked, especially just kind of in an anecdotal layman's way right now. I'm just driving along on the way to the gym today, y'all. But again, if that did make any sense, you could just eat protein all the time or just carbs all the time. But in no way does that make sense. Your body does not function that way. So I'll give you one more example. If it were just about calories in, calories out, you could take a cup, 3 different empty cups, measuring cups, fill one with, just say, white cane sugar, fill the other with diced broccoli, and then also fill the middle with diced, like minced up really fine so you can fit as much as you can in that cup, diced apples, and then in that third cup, fill it up with as well and far and broken down broccoli spears as you could, okay? And what you'll find immediately is that in cup A, there is absolutely zero nutritional value. So the cane sugar has absolutely zero nutritional value whatsoever, okay? But a shit ton of carbs. The second one is apples. Depending on the season and what type of apple and all that, you might get a lot, you might get no nutrients from that. But again, a lot of sugar. And the same thing with the broccoli. Now, you will get not so many carbs from that broccoli because it takes a lot of carbs to get broccoli, but you'll get dietary fiber, and depending on what time of year, you'd get a bunch of solid nutrients from your broccoli, none of which you'd get from your other sources of carbohydrate. So that's just a good example that I can give you right here on the road, on the way to the gym, talking to you guys, just trying to share that calories in, calories out is a bunch of daggone nonsense. Okay? That's it for today. Don't forget about Monday. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I'll have a fun post about that. I love Dr. King. Had a lot of great things to say. Disagreed with him on some things personally, but most people didn't know him as a person. Most people knew the public figure that he was, and I've got a great video of Dr. King I'm going to post along with some other good stuff. But don't forget today, as well as yesterday, the 18th and 19th of January this year, 2013, is Stonewall Jackson and Mr./General Robert Edward Lee Day. Please don't forget these heroes of Virginia history. Robert E. Lee couldn't have been a better human being. Stonewall Jackson, Thomas Stonewall Jackson, was a Union man, but only switched to being part of the quote-unquote rebellion because the Northern Army came through and what he considered invaded Virginia. So, don't forget these heroes of Virginia history and American history just because they were on the side of the South. Excuse me. Had a lot of saliva working there. But just because they were on the side of the South and somehow being in any way associated with the South, we are a bunch of backward, ignoramus bigots. We are not. I certainly am not. I can't speak for everyone. I'll just speak for myself. I certainly am not. So please, like me, don't forget these heroes of history. And that's it for today, y'all. Y'all take care.